What's up? It's your man, Jimmy Chan. All right, so I need to graph this right here, this polynomial function. So it'll be helpful if I can find the y-intercept, right? The y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. So if I plug in 0 here, here, and here, these are all going to turn to 0. So what I'll know is that I have a y-intercept at 0, comma 6, right? The y value is going to come out to be 6. All right, so I have my y-intercept is 6. To find my x-intercept, I know y is equal to 0, so that means I have 0 is equal to x to the third minus 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. Typically, we would just go ahead and find all the possible rational zeros, which will be taking the factors of 6 and dividing by all the factors of 1. So it's 1 over 1, 2 over 1, and 6 over 1. All right, 3 over 1 and 6 over 1, okay? So that's what we would have there, all right? So with that being said, what else I can do is go ahead and just graph it really quick and just to see if I can find a single root, and I do. I see that I have a 0. I have a 0 at x equals 3. So if that was a factor, it would be an x minus 3. So I'll have to do some long division here of x minus 3 divided by this x to the third minus 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. So I ask myself, how many times does x go into x to the third? It's going to be x squared, multiply. And when I multiply, I'm going to get x to the third minus 3x squared. Then I can flip the sign and add. I'm going to get an x squared. Bring down the next term, which is minus 5x. How many times does x go into x squared? Well, that's going to be x times. So that's going to be what? X squared. X squared minus 3x. Flip the signs and add. I'm left with a negative 2x plus 6. How many times does x go into negative 2x? Would that be negative 2 times? So I got negative 2x plus 6. Flip the signs and add, and I have left a 0. So that means I'm going to have this with x squared plus x minus 2 is what we have there. There we go. And I can factor that. So I have 0 is equal to x minus 3 times x plus 2 and x minus 1. Okay? So, as I look at this, a couple of things, right? Number one, I know I have x-intercepts at x equals 3, x equals negative 2, and x equals 1. Okay? And these are all of multiplicity of an odd multiplicity, right? So odd multiplicity means that it's going to go through the x-axis. It's not going to touch it. It's going to go through it. That's number one. Number two, here's another deep thing right here. Let me go ahead and do this. If we notice, it's a positive x cubed. So it's going to tell me that this graph is actually going to do this. Okay, so something like this, where when x goes to negative infinity, it's going to go to negative infinity, and when it goes to positive infinity, it's going to go positive infinity. Okay, so it's going to be something like that. It's going to go through those roots, so let's go ahead and throw a graph here. My y-intercept is 6. Oh, maybe I should have brought this line down a little further. Y-intercept is 6, 2, 4, 6. My x-intercept is at 3, at 1, and at -2. Okay, so in order for this graph to hit here, right, and hit these points here, that means it's got to go up and down. And since these are odd, that means it's got to go this way, and somehow come back up this way. All right, so that means this has to go something like this, and go on. Right? So as x goes to positive infinity, my y value will also go to positive infinity. As x goes to negative infinity, my y value will go towards negative infinity. That's why we need that. Okay? So now as we look at that, now we can decide on what we have, and then we can decide on what the right course of action would be. All right? So let me do something like this here. Let me see if I can. Okay. All right. Now the scary part is that I don't know how far this goes down. So I'll just do this for now. So this is going to be a question mark, right? I don't know how far it's going to go down. I know that it's got to go through this part. Now, here's the other part. This right here, it could be something like this, actually. Right? It could actually be something like this. I just know that it will hit that and have to come back down through it. Right? So it'll be a hard time to kind of graph it, but again, it's got to do something like that. So I don't know what the max and the min is, but I know that it has to go through those particular points, and these arrows have to point in those directions as well. And if you look at the choices, you're going to see that the one that is going to cross the y-axis at 6 and then it's going to hit these 3 roots right here is going to be choice B. And there you go. Okay, and there you go. I hope that helps. Any questions, let me know. See ya. Bye.